everyone. Welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today we're going to be talking about start sit for the Thursday night game. Then we'll be talking about some DFS Value Picks. These prices are going to be based off of DraftKings. So if you're playing on DraftKings, these are some guys that are going real cheap this week, and you might be able to take advantage of them. We'll get started here. Start sit for the Thursday night game. It's obviously the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll go with the Chiefs side. You're obviously starting Patrick Mahomes. He's pretty much a must start every week unless he's hurt. Then we got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You're going to be starting him. You probably took him in the first or second round, and he's going to be a plug and play pretty much every week unless he's hurt as well. It'll be interesting to see how they limit his touches in this game. Darrell Williams could be a guy if you're in a deeper league or you have some injuries already. Maybe he's a potential flex play for you this week. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets 10 touches or so, 10 to 12 touches, maybe even a touchdown. And then you're obviously going to be starting Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. You're going to be starting those guys pretty much every week. Sammy Watkins and McCole Hardman for the Chiefs are the two other wide receivers we'd be highlighting. Pretty much they're guys you're going to be looking at more so in DFS and as potential flex plays depending on your league. If you're in like a deep league or you're, like I said earlier, if you got a bunch of injuries as well. But that's pretty much everybody on the Chiefs side. I'm not starting either of these two defenses this week. It should be a shootout. It's Vegas's highest projected points total for the week. And then the Texans, you're going to be starting Deshaun Watson pretty much every week. I don't know why you wouldn't. This is going to probably be his best year fantasy football-wise. Their defense is not what it's been. He's going to have to throw a lot more, use his legs. I just think it's going to be a great year for him. I have him as my quarterback number 3 in this year. And then we have David Johnson and Duke Johnson. I'll talk a little bit about these two. Where you drafted David Johnson, you're probably going to have to start him as like your running back 2 or your flex. Just keep an eye out on his carries for how they split up the workload tonight. And we can use that going forward. I don't think he's going to have a great game, but I don't think he'll be bad either. Duke Johnson is the one that's a little bit more interesting for me. He is a lower end flex play probably this week. We're not sure how many touches he's going to get with David Johnson now in the backfield. But I could see him having value later on in the season. Like I said, kind of with Hardman and Watkins and Darrell Williams. Pretty much he's a flex guy you're going to play if you don't have any better matchups. Will Fuller is a must start if he's healthy for me pretty much all year. In this game, he should be the main target for the Texans. Brandon Cooks is the one that we got to look out for today. He's been on an injury report. He's going to be a game time decision. Like, I just wouldn't risk him this week, especially like coming off a calf injury as somebody that's a speed guy. Even if he does play, he might pull up late. He might pull up in the middle of the game, leave the game. Just too big a risk. Randall Cobb is probably somebody you're going to target more DFS or like a low-end flex play, kind of like I've been talking about with Duke Johnson, Hardman, and Watkins. But pretty much that's it. Kenny Stills you're probably not going to touch unless it's like a DFS play or Cooks gets ruled out like last minute and then you want to play him in DFS. That'd be fine too. Like I said, we're not playing the defenses. Darren Fells could be like a sleeper for like probably DFS if he gets like a touchdown. But otherwise, not really looking at the Houston tight ends group. Then we'll get into some of our DFS picks. I got some notes here. So if I'm looking down, that's what it's going to be. So these are the guys that I think are going pretty cheap. They could have good matchups. And if you're trying to win that tournament style game, they could help you do it by getting some cheap low end guys and then pairing them with some of the higher end guys. So I'm not going to be talking too much about the higher end guys, but these are just the cheap guys that have some interesting value to me and could help you guys out as well. So for quarterbacks, I got 3 listed here. I got Tyrod Taylor for 5,600. He's got a good matchup going against the Bengals. The Bengals defense is not very good. I know they brought in some pieces in the offseason to try to improve it. Trey Waynes did go on IR. Their defensive line should be all right, but like their linebackers and their corners especially are not very good. We'll see how much Tyrod actually gets to throw the ball, but if Burrow's putting up points on the other side, Tyrod's going to have to throw the ball some. He also offers rushing upside, and for 5,600, he's a lot cheaper than a lot of the other quarterbacks. Then my 2 other guys that I got down are actually going against one another. I got Derek Carr and Teddy Bridgewater. They're both $5,900. I prefer Derek Carr in this matchup. Josh Jacobs could have a good day in this matchup. Carolina's defense is not great against the run. I know they did bring in pieces to try to improve it. Their defensive backs are really bad. And I think Gruden, the offensive coordinator, Greg Olson, they're going to try to use some of their new weapons. Your Henry Ruggs, your Brian Edwards, They're going to use Renfro out of the slot. They're going to use Waller. So I think this is a game that Derek Carr and his receivers are going to have a good day. And then on the opposite side, we got Teddy Bridgewater. Like I said, he's $5,900 as well. If Oakland's scoring points, he's going to be throwing the ball because their defense isn't very good. He's going to be throwing the ball. He's got good weapons around him. We got Christian McCaffrey. We got DJ Moore. He's got Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson, and even Ian Thomas. So he has a chance to put up points as well, especially if this goes into a high-scoring game. The Raiders' defense isn't anything too special. Their defensive backs are still kind of unproven. Their defensive line, the linebackers, are a little bit better than they were last year. But overall, it's got an opportunity for both quarterbacks to put up points in that matchup. We'll go over to the running backs, so I'm just going to go down the list. These are the prices, so I'm going to start from highest to lowest. Tariq Cohen's one I got down for $4,900. David Montgomery has been practicing, and supposedly he's questionable for the game. If Montgomery plays, I probably wouldn't play Cohen here. But if Montgomery is ruled out for $4,900, Cohen's a guy that has tremendous value. Malcolm Brown's the next one. I got him. He's down for $4,500. And believe what you want about the Rams backfield, but Malcolm Brown is going to be the starter week 1. He's probably going to receive the bulk load of the touches, including some goal line and passing down work. He's the one McVay trusts the most, and he's got the highest chance for fantasy points. The Cowboys aren't specifically great against the run. I know they brought in a couple defensive tackles to help that out. Gerald McCoy obviously is out for the season and was released afterwards, so that could be an area to exploit as well. I'm not saying for sure that Malcolm Brown is going to be like a must-start, but he's somebody you should consider for the price that he is going for. The next one I got is Zach Moss. He's kind of the same way. He's a good value, but we don't know how they're going to split up him and Singletary's touches. Jets' defense was pretty decent against the run, too. I know the Buffalo wants to run the ball, and Moss should see an opportunity to have a rushing touchdown at least. So for $4,400, he could be a value. Next one is a similar case, another rookie, Joshua Kelly for $4,300. He could see goal line work, and just depending on the amount of touches he could get against that Bengals defense that we kind of already talked about, he could be quite a value as well. Then we got Darrell Williams I talked about a little bit. He could see 10 to 12 touches in this game. If he gets a touchdown for $4,200, he could be worth it as well. Then we're getting down into the bottom tier guys. These are the cheapest guys you can get at running back. So keep in mind, they might not be a big name, but for how cheap they're going for, you compare them with a Christian McCaffrey or Josh Jacobs or somebody that's a lot higher priced that has that good matchup that's going to get you some of them guaranteed points. Or maybe you pair them up with Patrick Mahomes that's going to get some guaranteed points. Part of playing DFS is finding the values and then pairing them with the guys that you know are going to get points. So these guys that I got down here, the first one's going to be Rex Burkhead. He's the running back for the Patriots. He's $4,000. All these guys are going to make $4,000 that I'm mentioning down below. Burkhead, he's not a great running back. James White's the pass catcher. Sony Michel's the primary runner, but Sony Michel is coming off his offseason foot surgery. Burkhead should see a decent amount of touches in this game. Miami's defense is okay. It's improved from last year, but it's still nothing great. This could be a matchup that Burkhead gets an advantage in, especially if the Patriots are up late. They're not going to want to run Sony Michel 20 times a game. And Burkhead's really the only other guy on their roster that they can really pound down the middle. Antonio Gibson for $4,000. He's a wild card here because he had 30-some carries at Memphis last year. He's very unproven. We don't know how they're going to use him. I know a lot of people are hyped up on him. But if you really want to go for the high-end wild card and hope he pans out, for $4,000, he's pretty much free. Next guy is same situation, Bryce Love. They're both in Washington. We don't know how they're going to use either one of them. But if one of them pans out and gets the touches and is effective for $4,000, like I said, they're free. Next is Chris Thompson. You got Jacksonville running backs. Obviously, Leonard Fournette's gone. They're going to be down probably most of the year. So Chris Thompson's going to see a lot of action in the negative game script. He's a good pass catching back. He's going to put up points for you as long as he's healthy. And for $4,000, like I said before, he's free. Then the last guy we got on here is the other running back for Jacksonville. It's going to be James Robinson out of Illinois State, undrafted rookie. Relatively unproven. We have no idea what he's going to do. But he's another $4,000 flyer. But he's not somebody I'm really going after. He's just another name that was noteworthy on those bottom end guys. Wide receivers. We're going to start up at the top. Marvin Jones for $5,500. He's got a decent matchup against the Bears. He's going to be going up against Jalen Johnson, a rookie corner, making his first career start. When in the games that Matthew Stafford did play last year, Marvin Jones averaged about 8 targets per game. He's a good receiver. If he gets touchdowns, he's going to be worth it. That's pretty much how he's going to be all year. But for $5,500, he's a pretty good value. Next one, Henry Ruggs. We already talked about the good matchup with Carolina. He's $5,100. I know he's a rookie. We don't know what to expect from him, but he can turn any play into a big play or a touchdown. So he's somebody worth monitoring. And if you need somebody that's not too expensive, but not like super cheap, he could be a value there as well. Next guy is similar player, Deshaun Jackson. We saw what he did to the Redskins last year, and the Redskins corners are even worse than they were last year somehow. So he's in line for a big target share. Obviously, Jalen Reagor's probably not going to play. Alshon Jeffrey's out. So he's the main wide receiver weapon for Carson Wentz this weekend. Next two guys we already talked about a little bit, Sammy Watkins and McCole Hardman. Watkins is $4,600 and Hardman is $4,200. They have a good matchup against the Houston defensive backs. I'm probably going to play Hardman because he's the more of a big play guy, and he's $400 cheaper if you're playing him. But either one could be a good value. And these prices are going to be for the week long. So I know like if you're just playing like the Houston and Kansas City game for DFS, the prices may be a little bit higher for that as well. Then next guy I got is Bryan Edwards, another guy for Oakland in that Carolina matchup. He's a rookie I love a lot. I've been stashing him a lot in the redraft leagues if you guys haven't already seen. And for $4,200, I know he's making his first start, but he has a tremendous matchup, and he could put up points as well. Deontay Johnson's my next one. He's also $4,200. He's got a great matchup against the Giants, and Ben Roethlisberger's been speaking highly of him on the offseason. Somebody on Pittsburgh is going to have a great game, especially with how bad that Giants defense is. Then we got CeeDee Lamb for $4,100. He's going against the Rams. Jalen Ramsey is going to be on Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's kind of banged up too. So even if Cooper would somehow not play, Ramsey's probably going to be on Michael Gallup. He's going to draw the lesser of the coverage. I think it's a matchup that you could exploit for him, and for $4,100 is definitely worth checking out. Next one's Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell's probably going to play in the slot for the Colts. They're going against Jacksonville. Jacksonville corners are pretty bad. I know they're going to have like Henderson and I think Hayden on the outside. Their slot guy is nothing to write home about, so Paris Campbell has a good matchup here. Paris Campbell is $3,900, so he's almost free in this matchup. And if they throw the ball enough, he could be worth it. And then the last three guys I got are $3,000 players. These are guys that are they're very unproven, but if they get the opportunity, they could do something. Jalen Guyton is the first one for the Chargers. There's talk that Mike Williams might play, but if he doesn't, for $3,000, he could be all right. Like I said, the Bengals defense isn't that great to start out with. So maybe for $3,000, he's somebody you could play. He's not somebody I would go after myself, probably. And then the next one, Van Jefferson, $3,000 for the Rams. If that game turns into a shootout, they're probably going to go with more 3 wide receiver sets. That benefits Jefferson. He's going to get a lot of hype out of camp. Obviously, he's a very polished route runner. And for $3,000, he's almost free. Then the last guy I got is Chase Claypool. We already talked about how bad the Giants' defense is. We're not sure how much Claypool will actually play. Him, Deontay Johnson, and James Washington will probably split some snaps as well. Claypool is that big body, quick wide receiver. His combine was very similar to Calvin Johnson's. And he is a guy that, if they get down in the red zone, he could be a touchdown target. Then we'll move over to tight ends. So these are the guys that I'm looking at here. I got Blake Jarwin for $4,700, where he's going to be going up against the Rams. Their linebackers aren't that great. They lost Corey Littleton, and it could be a matchup that favors Jarwin. Jarwin's $4,700, so not an awful price. And then next is Eric Ebron. Ebron's going up against the Giants. Like I said, their defense isn't anything special. He's kind of like a streamer pick in redraft leagues for me as well. He's $4,600. And if he scores a touchdown, he should be worth that price. Him and Claypool will probably be their main targets down in the red zone, besides James Conner running the ball, obviously. Jonnu Smith, $4,400. He's going against Denver. Denver's linebackers are nothing to write home about. I know Simmons is a pretty good safety if he draws coverage on on Smith. Jonnu Smith, he's going to be probably the second target on the team for Tennessee, and he's a super athletic guy. He could make one big play and he'll be worth your money for sure. Hayden Hurst for 4,300. They're going against Seattle. Seattle was pretty bad against the tight end last year. I know they did pick up Jamal Adams, so that should help part of that problem. But for $4,300, Hurst could be a great value. Then we got a couple other guys down here. These are lower guys. So I got Tyler Eifert, 3,300. He's going against the Colts. The Colts aren't like specifically good against the tight end, but it's kind of, this one's a real flyer for me. He's listed as the backup tight end on their depth chart, but I think that's just because they want to use the other guy for blocking more so and kind of limit Eifert's snaps. He's been hurt a lot in the past. He did play all the games last year, but even Cincinnati then kind of limited some of his snaps as well. Chris Herndon for $3,300. It's not a great matchup against Buffalo, but he's pretty much free at this price. I'm not a big Herndon guy myself, but with how banged up all their other wide receivers are, he could have an opportunity this week as well. Logan Thomas is the last guy, and he's on here just because he's $2,800. He's going to be the Washington starting tight end. The Eagles linebackers are nothing great, so he could have a decent matchup. And if they get down big, there's not many other guys on the team to throw to besides like Terry McLaurin, maybe Antonio Gibson. So I wouldn't be surprised if Thomas has a good game. Then I got 3 DSTs down. So I got the Eagles, 3,600. They're going against Washington. Should be a very favorable game script for them. Washington is not really good at offense. The Colts are the other one, $3,000. I like them. They should be in a favorable position against Jacksonville as well. And then the last one is the LA Chargers. They're going against the Bengals. Like I said, Joe Burrow is a rookie quarterback, obviously. And it could be a good matchup for the Chargers as well. Those are the 3 ones I consider there. Like I said, they're all pretty cheap. But these were just my value picks for DFS on DraftKings for this week. Hope you guys all enjoyed those. And a little start sit for the Thursday night game. Trying to get my buddy Matt on here to talk some more DFS. We'll see if he's available. If he is, then we'll have another video coming out with some of his picks for the week as well. But with that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this video. If you guys liked and enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. Like I said, I'm very excited for the 2020 NFL season. And also, if you are a new or current subscriber who hasn't already done so, please hit that notification bell. It'll let you know every single time I post up a video. Now that we're getting into the regular season, we'll have a little bit more clear schedule. Monday, we'll be looking at waiver wire guys to pick up. Wednesday, we're probably going to be looking at the Thursday matchup a little bit more. Thursday, we'll be talking some DFS. Friday, we'll be looking at like start sits for the rest of the matchups of the week. A little bit of other stuff here and there. I might move my fantasy baseball like recap back to Tuesday just because we got the waiver wires, on like Monday, Tuesday. We're going to be doing them since most people's waiver wires run on Wednesday. I'd also be interested to hear down in the comments some of the guys that you like for DFS this week, other cheap value plays you got. What you think about the game for tonight with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans. I'm a Texans fan myself. I know it's not probably going to look too favorable for us. Obviously, the Chiefs are the better team, but hopefully we can squeak a win out or at least make it close. But with that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it and have a great rest of your day.